Welcome to Belkin's Growth Podcast, hosted by Michael Maximoff, co-founder and managing partner at Belkin's. Today's guest is Fernando Angulo, head of communications at SEMrush. SEMrush is an all-in-one platform designed for marketing teams to improve digital presence. It is used by over 5 million people in 190 countries and is known to be the leading product in SEO automation. Michael and Fernando speak in detail about the best SEO practices, talk about how SEMrush sales team scores its leads, and touch base on how the pandemic has changed SEMrush's operation. Enjoy listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more episodes.
Welcome to the show. So first, I wanted to get some of the numbers straight, okay? SEMrush, 6 offices, 700 plus people, 12 years on the market, 4 million users, clients in 119 countries. And these numbers are back 2019-ish. So obviously the COVID-19 happened. So what are your current company numbers?
Thank you for having me here. And I need to say this, that our numbers right now are bigger. We have more users. We have more countries. We have more people working for us. We are about to get 1,000 people in the company. We are about 5.5 million users. And of course, those are only the numbers that represents the things that we are doing with our business strategy. But internally, our numbers are even bigger. We have about 18 billion keywords. So that's the capacity of reaching out with the people's search queries. And we are, I don't know how many trillions. I believe there are going to be right now 4 trillions backlinks profile that we have. So yes, we are data providers, and I believe we are one of the biggest ones.
Awesome. I've been talking to a lot of companies lately with regards to how they've been going through this COVID-19 crisis and what was before the pandemic happened and what is after, right? So can you give me a very high-level idea of what was in the company before the COVID happened, and then how did you structure or what have changed over the course of the COVID for you? Any specific things that you didn't do and you start doing after it?
Yes. In terms of marketing, that's the part of the business that I'm part of. In terms of marketing, basically all the structure was working from different location offices, but we were prepared for working from home. And this situation just make it more relevant to have that project in mind. So you can work from home. We were applying that already 3 years ago. So anybody can say, okay, can I go for this week working from home? Or with some other teams, we were doing this. We want to work from another offices for like a month because, we have offices in Boston, Philadelphia, in Dallas, and we also have offices in Europe. A team from Europe or we have office in Russia. People from Russia, they could fly to US, stay there, work from there to meet the people. Also, we have an office in Cyprus. It's a beautiful island. It's like a paradise. You want to work from there like a month because it's really nice. You have the ocean, you have the sand. We were practicing that before this situation. Right now, things changed a lot because nobody can travel. We are supposed to go back to the normal life maybe in October. But our internal policy for SEMrush, they allow us to work from home till New Year. Till New Year, everybody can work from home. After that, it's going to be depending on each team. So basically for marketing, that's not necessary to be in the offices anymore, which is brilliant. It's a new reality for all of us. And
Right.
In terms of productivity, the productivity has been higher than usual because basically when you're in an office, you're working your 6 or 8 hours and you're done, right? But from home, you don't have any limits, any boundaries. You can wake up, start working, go into the bed, still working. You're working more than ever before.
So let me go back to the workflow that you have. So let me get it straight. So before Corona happened, you could work from home whatever you wanted. You had this work from home policy. You can travel between different offices and so on and so forth. But now basically, since the traveling is not happening, everyone is working from home. And then you on the company level decided that you can work from home until the end of the year. right? So that you can go. Or if you want to go to office, you can easily go to the office, but you primarily work from home, right? So
Yes.
okay. And then obviously with regards to productivity, right? Because you don't spend time on commuting to the office, go back and forth.
Yes.
You don't spend time basically preparing yourself for the working day at home or so on and so forth. So you can sit in front of your computer or the laptop and just start working and spend 12, 15 hours, right?
Yes.
That's usually how it happens. I mean, before I usually spend about 10, 12 hours working. Now I spend, let's say, 15 hours working. And sometimes it's like, oh man, I don't see how the time is passing by, right?
Just too many hours. And that started another situation, which was a lot of people started burning out, working that much. And we have these calls with our CEO. We still have them. At the beginning was every week, then every 2 weeks, when he was recommending us to work less. Yes, you're hearing well. He was saying, okay, if you're at home, you can do this. Actually, the first week was very interesting and funny. He was telling us the games that you can play, the ones who are out there, for example, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, or some strategy games, or doing something else, going to your car because you need to have your personal space and you need to have all your thoughts in one single place. So he was recommending us, and I really remember this because I did it, that at least 1 hour per day or every 2 days, go to your car because you cannot go anywhere, close the door, and just grab some piece of paper and write there in paper what you actually want, what you want to do, what are your thoughts, without any phones, without any computers. So that time was really good for most of the people because, okay, you are free about everything, you are disconnected, you are thinking about you. And during this time, because it's a pandemic, right? You have a lot of pressure about the future, about so many uncertainties. And the company was actually taking care about us in terms of we have the support from the CEO. He was telling, of course, the business details of the company, how good if we are losing clients, how many months or years we can be in this situation if, for example, the baddest scenario, and the actual scenario that we're living. They also hired a specialist, a psychologist, to help us. So you can have your meeting with a psychologist once per day, 2 times per day, if you need it, because it was a really tough situation for everyone. And right now, for example, here in Prague, we don't have any more quarantine. Actually, there are not other requirements that we need to follow anymore, no mask, like nothing. But in other countries, like in Russia and United States as well, some of the other stuff still continues. Here, you can go to office. I can go to the office, but I really found me more productive working from home because, okay, I know my timings. My family is here with me sometimes, and it's really good for me to have a lunch with my kids. So this is going to be the only generation, I believe, in the last couple of decades that actually, if you have kids, you can have lunch with them every single day. That was something that never happened the last, for example, 10 years. So this generation needs to be very grateful because of that, only because of that, I would say.
I think that what your company management did to decrease the level of stress and make sure that everyone is working effectively, that's awesome. Talking about your clients though, so you mentioned 5.5 million users, right?
Yeah.
I've researched your company and I've seen that you guys work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, right? Like a lot of them. And then you work with a lot of agencies. So we have like thousands of agencies in your portfolio. And then you work with like individual users or people that are interested in using the product, right? So because their like clients types are so segmented, right? Like small individuals, agencies, Fortune companies, like so small, mid-sized business, large enterprises. How does your sales team look to acquire those customers? So what is the sales team structure there?
The user acquisition basically goes from different teams, which are in the marketing departments. Once we are acquiring, I don't know, from ads, we are doing a lot of ads. We're creating content. We have our main keywords out there. We're doing webinars of online events. So we have different sources where we can acquire users. Internally, we are using Salesforce, which is really great. We have a big Salesforce team that they are creating this internal scoring of the touch points that we have with those users, also with the remarketing that we did with them. And of course, the higher the ranking is, the more easy for any sales representative. And I believe we have more than 45 or 55 sales representatives only in the US. Overall, I believe there are 100 or more. But they are receiving this scoring system. Their Salesforce is dividing, the administrators are dividing all the leads that are coming in one single day per region, per language, per country, per scoring, and they're just going there. That's in terms of sales structure. We have our internal scoring, knowing that, okay, we know what are the top products that we have, the ones that we are selling the most, right? And we know that those users that they have the free accounts, how many times they are entering to those services. So that's another touch point as well. That's a more technical aspect because SEMrush is a really robust platform. We have many stuff. If you want to learn SEMrush, you need about 2 weeks, every day, 8 hours, to have a workshop for understanding the whole spectrum of possibilities that you can do with it. But if you are already doing some SEO or some technical SEO, or if you're doing some content creation, can just use those tools. Still, you will have a lot of profit for using those tools. And when we see people using SEO tools, for example, the Keyword Magic tool or our SEO writing assistant for content creation, we saw that, okay, these people, they know what they're doing. We are aware about their proficiency working with keywords, working with segments, or for example, if they are PPC people, they are working with our PPC tool that is creating already those pivot tables, excluding the negative ones. So we have all that included. If you know what is a negative keyword and you go to SEMrush, so you are kind of already of an expert. You are not a beginner, right? So for those people, we have a different approach because they are more advanced. For the rest of the people, they're, for example, starting. And during this situation, we found out that there are tons of people that they wanted to understand the potential of SEMrush using just a couple of tools, but they were kind of lost. So for them, we are offering the academy courses, the webinars, the personal demos. So it's a different approach. In all our funnel, we have these segments from people who are the practitioners, the one who are starting, the beginners. And of course, if it's a brand, we know that they're working with agencies. We know because of the emails. So several touch points. I believe we have more than 30 or 35 touch points that we say, okay, this guy is about to buy from us. Maybe they don't know the whole possibility because we have 3 packages. We can say, okay, the first package is about $100, which is the pro account. If you are a blogger and you're starting writing something, that's a lot of money to spend just for one single project. So better to use other type of tools, the ones who are free. Better use your Search Console, your Google Ads account to see the keyword manager there, and you can work first your online visibility. But if you are already receiving some revenue, some profit from the things that you are doing, you need to use a professional tool. And $100 is like nothing for those people.
Right. So basically, because of this huge amount of leads that are coming from different channels, you're basically funneling them, right? So you have and then everything is based on the scoring, right? So you are scoring everything with regards to all the incoming and internal leads to see how you can funnel them in the right direction and to the right product, or how you can cross-style them and all of that. And then for the mass market, you do a lot of SEO, advertising, content, like basically filing them down because that's the most sort of like budget-friendly way, right? And then in this funnel, you see that, okay, this you identify by the signals that these are the agencies or more larger companies. And then based on their scoring, based on the way they engage with their content through different types of content, like webinars and different training sessions, so on and so forth, and different content articles, then you're going to be picking them up from that funnel and then feeding them to your more proactive sales team, like SDRs or BDRs or sales executive. And then they're going to be contacting them and then negotiating and then seeing which product works for them. And that's more kind of bigger chunk of that. And then you said that you have about 100-ish sales people around the world that do that. And then in the US alone, you have about 55 people, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear from your sales leaders did the team start working less effectively working from home or more effectively, specifically from the sales standpoint? Because sometimes everything about sales is about the energy. And sometimes when you have all these salespeople in the room and they start, like charging each other with the positive neutrons, then that's kind of works well with regards to the conversions. But working from home, it's tough for salespeople. Is it the true statement or it wasn't true for you guys?
Well, actually, I need to support your second hypothesis. I believe for them was difficult at the beginning, just because the sake of, okay, I need to be in this environment with other people who has the same mindset that I have. So I need to have all this energy to do the phone calls, to do the pitching, to present, and doing that from home for salespeople, it was kind of difficult. I saw in some, for example, the more complex business deals that we have, that the average of emails that we have with those big clients that they have all the bureaucracy, the average was around 45 emails. Right now we have 120 emails with those people. So the average number of emails doubled. So the effort is small because you are closing more deals when you are front and front with the client. You can talk to them, you can sign faster. But here, for every single detail, you need to send an email, go back, wait, then an email, go back. So the sales pipeline is kind of longer. The communication is not that effective. But I will say, in defense of that since May, the sales teams, they recover it because it's just a new reality that they were facing. I need to work from home. I need to set up all my stuff from home. Actually, here in the company, we applied this to everybody. If you wanted to have your chair, your table, your any other equipment, we were offering the delivery option. We will send you this to your home. Actually, I'm here in my house. I have my office table. I have my office chair. I have all the things that I had in my office. So I built my own personal office here at home. I'm more comfortable. Of course, I'm feel more safer. Not going to any transport, not going to any public transport, not going to other places. So I feel really good here. Basically, most of the salespeople, they had also that option and they were using it. So first is how comfortable they were feeling working from home, and then the company applied to support them, sending all the material, all the stuff that they needed. And this is a normal practice right now. A couple of weeks ago, they told me that, okay, you have that chair from the office. We bought another one in case that you want to go and work from office. So I have two chairs. One that is here at my home office,
Right.
and the other one. And this is a very comfortable situation for the company and for us.
I want to dive in the more like SEO topic in a minute. But first, I wanted to start with a more broader question. Since you guys are operating internationally, you have multiple offices and customers in like 200 countries, right? Did you notice any specific habits with regards to how different locations are doing SEO and the mistakes that they're doing? For example, the difference in SEO kind of nature of work in Russia and then in Europe, in the United States and in Asia. And did you see some patterns with regards to the different? You would be the best person to ask that with regards to the way you guys aggregate the data from all of those locations.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
In those countries, for example, as I was mentioned before the interview started, I was living in Russia for 17 years. But before this COVID situation, for the last 3 or 5 years, I was doing a lot of traveling myself as well. I was doing a lot of traveling. I mean, 3 countries per week, 3 different conferences per week. It was my personal record for 2019 was 150 conferences in 55 countries. Last year, it was 61 countries and 172 conferences. There's not going to be a record this year, but I still was doing a lot of traveling. And the main difference is the way that people are taking risks with these Google terms and conditions, how they are, for example, experimenting with black hat in every country. For example, you know how you need to create the structure your content for acquiring featured snippets, right? You have the list, you have the table, you have the paragraph. But when I was in India at the beginning of this year, I saw that many e-commerces and also banks, they were just doing a lot of featured snippets, applying for every single piece of content in their website a list. So for everything, they have lists everywhere, questions and lists. So you have a blog post, question and list. You have the information about when you are opening your offices, question and list.
Is it bad? Is it good? What is the difference?
Well, it's kind of weird if you are opening, for example, here in Czech Republic, the main bank, I believe, is the Raiffeisen Bank. You go to their website, you open blog post about the new services that they are having. It's text, right? They're paragraph of text. But imagine if you are opening a blog page with only lists. It's kind of more easy to read if you are in a mobile device. But in terms of SEO, if you look that number, for example, in organic research in SEMrush, you put that domain, and I can give you the name. It's bankbazaar.com. It's a bank marketplace in India. They had around 55,000 feature snippets. When a normal bank, they have only 1,500. So you can imagine they're applying all these techniques that maybe common banks, they're just doing 1, 2, 3 lists every second blog post, but the entire website only with lists, and they're receiving like just tons of feature snippet.
So that's why they are ranking higher than others, because of that sort of like hacking of the.
Yes, I was asking the head of SEO of that bank, and he was telling me our goal here is not traffic, because we have 75 million visits per month. So it's India, right? And we have 100 million visits per month. People, they know who we are. We want to create our brand. We want to say that Bank Bazaar here is the leader, and they need to trust it. So every single feature snippet for them is a trust signal and is a brand building KPI. For that, it's perfect. I haven't seen that anywhere else. So that's the main differentiator. When I was commenting this, for example, in Norway, with other clients that we have there, they were saying, oh, that's interesting because, for example, in Norway, they didn't have feature snippets like 2 years ago because Norwegian is kind of difficult to understand for Google. So they were just applying structured data, so schema markups for their results, trying to explain Google that, okay, this is the result for an address. This is, for example, this is a bank, or this is her office. They were using a lot of structured data for having those snippets. But when Google started implementing the featured snippet also in Norwegian, all that work that they did was really having good results with the structured data. In India, that's something that is not working that much. But in countries like, for example, in Finland, Norway, also in Hungary, they're using a lot of schema markups because the language is really, really difficult. And for Google, they don't have Google Assistant in their languages. You cannot say, okay, Google, and talk in Finnish or in Hungarian because it's crazy difficult, those languages, right? So for doing that, you have the big amount of people working with feature snippets, and you have small countries working more with more technical stuff, like, for example, is schema markups. If we go, for example, to Latin America, to South America, there you can see big agencies, American agencies working with big brands. But for the normal people, for people that they have their own businesses, the agencies are working right now without any structured data. They are working more with the keywords and building links. So link building is the number one solution for ranking up in Latin America. It is still for most of the countries, but there are market for links, right? So they are doing a lot of black hat SEO stuff, and it's kind of working.
Okay, that's super interesting. And then where is US with regards to how they do, or how people in the US do the SEO? They do also focus more on keyword research or link building, or they're just sort of like in the middle of all of that. They don't have any specific characteristic to them.
Here the answer is, as usual, it depends of the business strategy, depends of the size of the business. Agencies in the United States, usually they are doing a great job creating the semantic core for a website. So they create content around that. one of the interesting stuff that I was seeing lately, the last couple of years, is when you're working with an agency in the US, they are working every single piece of content as a product. So every piece of content is a product. If you have a product page, okay, you have your own product, but for them, your content is a product. So they need to maximize their results. They are measuring the structure, they are measuring the results, they are comparing with the similar topics that they have with their competitors. So all those tasks that are related with that project are really great to manage, but it's a lot of work that is included there. So if you want to work with a piece of content, you need to apply a lot of resources in order to make it visible online. And that's why I was seeing, and that's why we are building tools for them.
Understood. Got it. Okay. What would you advise, being in this business for years now, if I am like an agency, or I am a company, a brand, right? And I'm like mid-size. I'm not at top of the tier, and I'm not on the bottom, right? I invested some money in my SEO. I have a structure or something. So, but what would you recommend me to do to get to the first page of the Google search, right? If I want to be position 1, 2, 3, basically rank in the first stage, what would be your personal advices with regards to what should I focus on to make sure that I can beat my competition there?
First of all, I would recommend to check the structure of the web page to see, okay, what I'm offering to my users. Am I solving users' problem with the things that I already have? So doing an audit of the things that you're doing right now. The good thing will be if you have a really good website to say, okay, I'm doing good. I'm going to be the best of my niche or my industry, and want to go to the next level, creating similar products or creating another value for my clients. But if you don't have much idea of what are you doing, you need to face that your site is not that good. Your site actually is bad, and you need to have that knowledge doing and site audit. So do the site audit, understand how many errors, mistakes you have, try to solve them. And for ranking those keywords, okay, you can rank keywords, but if the structure of your website is bad, you are just losing your time. You need to be capable to allow Google to index your website, to crawl your website, to see what you have in your sitemap, to see what you have in your robots.txt. And of course, when you have done all the audit tasks, you need to go and think about your users. Users are searching for services and products, and you need to start with these 3 questions. These are my favorite ones for every business. The first question is, what is the name of your service or your product? What is, I don't know, for example, for us, what is SEMrush, right? And you need to have that answer inside of your content with a list, as Indians are doing, or with a paragraph, or with a video, or better if you have all of them. If they can find, if they're asking, what is your product services? So what is, and the name of your brand, or the name of your name, right? The second question is, where is? To identify the location, how to find it, right? The third and the most important question is how to use it. If you have these 3 questions located with only one answer, but with different types of content answering those questions, you are doing already some good job. Why? Because people are searching that kind of stuff from the beginning. Try to understand what are the other questions that people are asking about your products, interviewing your users, asking to third-party tools like SEMrush, for example. Put there the name of your business, the name of your products, grab all the related questions that we can have for a product or service, and use that as product as well to create beautiful piece of content that it will bring value to your users.
So the first advice will be to audit the website to make sure that the structure is correct, right? Then fix all these mistakes with regards to the proper structure for SEO ranking. Then have those 3 questions in mind. What is my brand? Where is my brand? And how to use the product, or how to fix some problem. And then make sure that you can answer this question across the content, right? Across the board with regards to your
video,
content. Okay.
infography, whatever you can have. Okay. Yes, because I was checking a lot of businesses in different countries that they don't have, for example, their websites registered on Search Console, so that they haven't added the user ID on Search Console. They are not using, for example, sitemap. So Google, they don't have any idea where they need to check their content, or if they created some content, they're not using any images or videos. So just creating text doesn't equal content. You need to use images, a lot of images, and of course, you need to mention what is inside of those images. So using alt text is also a good thing, and videos, of course.
And videos, right? Question for you: when I'm thinking about SEO, right? I'm thinking about when someone is putting into Search Console, like how to do this, right? And then they can find my link and then go to my website and do business with me, right? I've seen that some of the companies, I think including us, or again, I don't know because I it's not my part of the job, but basically some of the companies, they focus more on the pillar pages and on the pillar keywords. For example, for my business, the keyword is lead generation, email deliverability, appointment setting. And they start, trying to rank these keywords as high as you can and putting all the kind of packaging, all the content, all these keywords, right? At the same time, there's another strategy where you are looking for this low volume, low difficulty keyword that you can very easily rank for and you can collect the traffic. So what would you think would be the right strategy? Obviously, you can be in the middle, but what if I don't have budget for that? Or what should be my strategy? Do I need to focus on the keywords that would bring me targeted traffic, or maybe a bit less targeted traffic, but much more traffic and it much easier for me to get the traffic to my page, if the question makes sense?
From most of the businesses that I saw online, they're trying to create informational content. So the informational content is not closing deals, it's not selling, it's just attracting users to identify their problems and have the answer for that. That's the main function of the informational content. But if you want to make users do something inside of your website, you need to have this more commercial part of content, which are basically, for me, are two or three types. I will say two that I was using lately. Let's talk about keywords. You have the informational keywords, which are basically the ones using different questions. For example, how, what is, how. Those are informational. You're attracting a lot of people with those questions. The second portion of questions, when people are considering to use your service or not, are the keywords that are called prepositional keywords. So you are using not any more question, but you are using only prepositions, saying, for example, house with 2 rooms in the street X, right? Or you are saying iPhone with 32 gigabytes and, I don't know, contract for 2 years. You are not using concrete questions, but you are using prepositions. So this type of content is really good for consideration. But the last type of keywords, which are the transactional ones, are the comparison keywords. The one that you need to use, for example, comparing two similar products, let's say iPhone 11 versus Samsung Galaxy S20. You are using the versus keyword, or you can use the price. iPhone price in, let's say, Los Angeles versus iPhone price in, I don't know, Beijing. You can use that as well. And that's a commercial keyword, a transactional keyword, because when people are searching for prices or for comparison triggers, they already know about the product, they have already all the information, and they have considered it. But if they found the right price, that's going to be your website, or the right trigger that is saying that the benefits that you are promoting, offering, they can be able to be buying that from you. So transactional keywords, most of the businesses are not using it at all. They're using most of the informational. Makes sense, because in order to make a transaction, you need to have people reading that, but they're forgetting to create this type of transactional keywords with content. For doing that, tables, for example, if I want to buy, let's say, not an iPhone, a chair, right, from IKEA or for Bauhaus, I want to compare this chair with the other one. If I have that comparison table, it will be more easy for me to take a decision on that. So that's the content that people needs to use in each stage of the funnel.
That's great. I actually didn't realize that transactional keywords are that important, and then you can rank them together with the first two types. That's great, Fernando. Quick question for you. if I do a lot of keyword research and a lot of keywords, use a lot of keywords in my content, right? There are still two more things, like the backlinking and the referred domains, or the domains that are referring websites, right? So would you put the backlinks on a more higher position than the keyword research and the right keywording, or on the lower position? And then the same goes with this referred domain. So how would you compare it to the keyword? Do I need to focus on this one or on that one? And then you can answer this question. The second part is, any advices or any information that you can share with us with regards to the right backlink strategy? Because again, I think that this is something that is very vague with regards to the information. Because I mean, I'm thinking about the backlinks and I'm like, oh my god, it's so complex. I don't know where to start with.
Yeah, perfect. So let's go with your first question about backlinks and keywords, right? Which are first? This is a really good question, but just inform is not the correct one. Why? Because they need to work separately, but also together. Why is that? Because if you are using, for example, the keyword mountain bikes, right? The links that you need to be referring to that is even blog with a biker there, an e-commerce store, or research made on bikes. So anything related with the big concept, which is bicycle, right? Or let's go with a higher concept, which will be transport, right? Or ecology, or any other aspect of cycling. If you are creating a blog post for ranking this mountain bike keyword, you need to refer at least, this is a part of one of our research, you need to refer at least around 23 other websites. So you need to have at least 23 external citation inside of your website. Why is that? Well, you can say, okay, that's a backlink that I'm putting to other guys, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but you are sending signals to those sites that they're saying, okay, I'm building a beautiful piece of content and I'm mentioning those websites because I trust them and I'm sending my trust. So that's the kind of organic thing that you need to build. And you're sending signals to those guys. Those guys are going to be noticing that. You put a link from them, how you can do it backwards, right? So first, you need to do your research. And this is for your second question. What is a good link building strategy? A good and a white hat link building strategy will be, I already pointed 23 external citations from a website. I put some backlinks to those guys, but those are not random websites. Those are websites that I was already in contact with, that I was saying, hey, I really love your content. I'm going to put a link here. Hi. I'm not asking them for backlinks. I'm saying, hey, I really love the content you're doing. Wait, expect a backlink from me. So you are starting that part of the conversation. Right now, there are a lot of spam around backlinks. I believe if you are in the SEO world, you are receiving these programs that are selling you backlinks with DA, with NA, whatever the metric is, for, I don't know, $20, $2,000, or for more. But if you're creating a blog post, you need to do your research. You can use, for example, tools like SEMrush for analyzing the sources that are more beneficial for you, or the ones that your main competitors, the one who are at the first page of Google, they already used. We have this tool that is the link building tool in SEMrush that is telling you which are the best resources to get backlinks from. It can be forums, or as a guest blogger, or it can be as a marketplace, wherever the source is. But we know that your competitors already received a backlink from them. So maybe you can do the same thing. It is a lot of work. It is. It's not easy, but it's more everlasting than buying links from a no resource and having that link for 2 months and then it will disappear. If you are creating relationships, I'm head of communication at SEMrush, right? The thing that I want to do is build relationships with partners, and those relationships are meant to be for people that are going to be working in your company, not for 2 months, 3 months, but for years to come. So you can have that security. Okay, my links are here, my persons are here, or I'm the business owner. I need to build this relationship with this website. One website, as you mentioned, is a referred domain, right? From one website, you can get as many links as you want in different places. But first, you need to build that relationship. Maybe that's going to be your second website or your best friend website, or you can go to a conference, have a networking session with anyone, grab a beer and say, okay, this is my website. I have this website, have a real conversation with them and create business from there. One of the greatest questions when we are doing these networking sessions after conferences, hey, it's time for exchanging links, right? In a bar, right? So, okay, what is your business about? And this is how this starts.
That's great. But that sounds so complicated with regards to the time spent, right? So do you think that in SEO that the link building is one of the most complicated and time spending things to do for SEO specialists? I mean,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like, if you do the white hat strategy, right? I'm not talking about the black hat, right? But if you do the white hat strategy, it sounds like so complicated. I mean, like if you look at your competitor, for example, if you look to Amazon and Amazon has like, 50 million backlinks and you're like, oh man. Yeah. So what I need to do to get to 1,000 links or 2,000 links, right? Is
Yeah,
there any way to automate that?
at a certain point, if you're talking about Amazon, they don't need backlinks, right? They are just receiving tons and tons of them. But if you're starting, let me tell you how we did it at SEMrush when I started working like 8 years ago. So we have a lot of mentions, online mentions from blog posts talking about SEMrush, that is a good tool. But when we analyze all those mentions, we found out that we don't have any do follow links. So we just contacted with the guy said, hey, why you don't put this do follow here? It will benefit you, and we can give you a free trial for our services, for example. We can increase the level of your account. So doing these kind of partnerships one by one is a lot of work anyway. If you want to do automatic stuff, I believe with Yandex, I remember when I was in Russia, with Yandex, there are a lot of link farms that you can say, okay, I have this blog post, I want 22 links for this, and you're paying with your Yandex Money also account. That was working great. I was using that as well. It's another complete search engine, but that's not the same situation. I believe for Yandex, it's not already the same situation. You cannot do more any link farms with that. But with Google, it's even worse because they can take a manual action if you are not using the right tag for those sponsored links, for example, that could end really badly for your website. So do it as a part of a job. It's a constant activity that you need to include, as the same as you are doing your keyword research, as the same as you are doing your site audit. You are solving all those problems. Link building is a process, and you need to have a person for doing that. If you're an agency, you need to have your outreach person that is going to be doing all the stuff for your clients.
I appreciate that, Fernando. Great advice. We have a few more minutes, and I usually ramp up the session with the question: if I need to use SEMrush services, right, or products, and I need to contact you guys, right? At what stage in my company life cycle I should be, or kind of what kind of problems I should be looking forward to solving with SEMrush? So I need to go ahead and talk to you.
Thinking about using SEMrush, you need to have one of these processes working. You will have problems with all of them at a certain point, of course, because this is our industry. First problem is, of course, SEO, your technical SEO, how your internal structure is working, how your keywords are distributed, how your competitors are working in your industry. You want to build niches, you want to build your authority website or your niche website, whatever the website you want to build. You need to have the information about what your competitors are doing and their sources of their success. So for this, you need to use SEO tools. The second one, you have already the knowledge about the keywords that you want to use, that you want to rank, but you don't have any idea if the people are searching for that, right? Because one thing is having the superficial knowledge about what is the best keyword for your business. The second type of more interesting knowledge is having the security and there's a certainty that those keywords are popular right now. For doing that, we have the content marketing tools that are allowing you to understand if that keyword is popular, it's trending. Let's say trending. It's trending right now, or maybe there is another keyword that is more trending right now that you need to include. For example, if you want to write about cryptocurrency, maybe 2 years ago, it was a good idea to write about Bitcoin. Right now, it's not a good idea. Maybe you need to write about something else inside of the cryptocurrency category. Maybe you need to write about Ethereum or classic Ethereum, whatever it is that is more trending right now. So for having that knowledge about what is trending, you need to use the content marketing toolkit. And in order to build the content, you can use tools, for example, like the SEO writing assistant inside of your Google Docs or with your WordPress or inside of our main dashboard. Build the content, have all the structure, have the list for the feature snippets, for example, there. Our internal scoring are going to measure the structure and the tone of voice. If you are, for example, in the health industry, you're going to talk with a casual tone of voice. You need to be more professional, more scientific, more serious, let's say. If you are creating a blog, a travel blog, you need to be more casual. You cannot use difficult words. So you need to have those metrics as well. The tone of voice is something that is really important for attracting more people. So you will have all those metrics with this SEO writing assistant. And if you are facing problems with promoting this content, because it's not only the sake of creating content, but forgetting about it, you need to promote it and you need to have a budget for each piece of content. So you can do it inside of our social media marketing toolkit. Actually, right now, our social media tools are free for everyone. This is our contribution for this, for supporting our users for this situation. All our social media marketing toolkit, the tracking social media profiles, the social media poster where you can schedule all the tweets, posts that you want in every social network. You can do it right now for free. But also you can put there your Facebook ads account, your Instagram ads account, and start pushing from SEMrush. And if you want to go to the next level, we have this new tool that is Traffic Jet. This is an entirely new service inside of SEMrush that is telling you, okay, you want to receive how many clients, we will tell you the budget, and we, with the help of artificial intelligence algorithm that we have, we're going to be building the ads for you in the best platforms that are out there. It's going to be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. It's going to be the Google network services, display advertising, whatever. We're going to do that. The artificial intelligence is going to be doing that. For example, you want to have 200 leads for tomorrow. We're going to find those leads in all those platforms. We're going to just build in the artificial intelligence that we have is going to be building those segments for you, and we're going to give you the results. That's the Traffic Jet.
That's great. And then if you want to get that, you go to SEMrush.com and you can get the free access to that suite, right?
Yes, you can use basically all the tools for free.
That's awesome, Fernando. Well, I appreciate you taking the time in joining me for this session. I know that you're putting out a lot of content on your LinkedIn profile. So for everyone who is listening to this, please follow Fernando on LinkedIn. You have a lot of different shows, podcasts, content that you did. So kudos on that.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Belkin's Growth Podcast and found it useful. Be sure to subscribe and catch upcoming episodes on iTunes and Stitcher.